All right, here we are. It's the old dance where Adam and I try to figure out if the technology can work for us here at Awesemo.com. We are doing the live before lock MLB style. And for those of you that are getting our first glance here, you're going to notice in the upper right corner, there's a new sponsor tonight. That's right. We are now sponsored by Yahoo Daily Fantasy Sports. You're going to want to check that out. Got a couple deals going on with them that we will mention, but today's the first show. They're back, longtime sponsor, but they're back for post pandemic, shall we say. And they're sponsoring all of our baseball shows. So they're one of the most trusted names in daily fantasy sports. They now have CSV upload as well as CSV edit. So you can mass multi entry as you see fit, and you can also claim up to $30 in Yahoo Sports Rewards points. Those are called YSRPs, and they are just as good as cash. All you have to do when you sign up is use the promo code Awesemo. You put 30 bucks in, they'll give you 30 bucks in the YSRPs. Adam, how have you been?
Pretty good. Been a busy day. A lot of sports going on today.
Well, I was going to say, I saw a screenshot of yours last night showing literally every sport from League of Legends all the way through baseball tonight, or so it seemed. Was the hockey, NASCAR,
I
Xfinity
skipped hockey.
races?
There was only two hockey games, so I skipped that.
Okay, okay. But League of Legends, you got that in? No worries.
Yeah. Got League of Legends, NASCAR, NHL, basketball, baseball, golf.
Golf, ooh, forgot about that. And now they have Captain on late slate third round. I don't know if that's going to continue for tomorrow, but that's something that or MVP that DraftKings put into play. We've got NASCAR again tomorrow. There's another hockey game coming up at 8 o'clock tonight. We've got baseball this evening. We're set. Let's jump on in here as people start to gather. We're going to kind of hit a little bit of everything here since we are the only baseball show that is going today. But of course, we have all sorts of content and articles that are available. I believe we have every lineup with the exception of the San Diego Padres, so that is good. And for those of you that are playing basketball, Goran Dragic out. So you want to do a little late swapping, etc. You have till 7:30 for that game, but we will be getting off here promptly at lock. We've got 7:05 start here, Adam. Jake Odorizzi making his debut, going against Danny Duffy. Danny Duffy is going to have to run the gauntlet here. The Twins will be one of the most popular stacks tonight. Duffy has allowed, let's see, in his last 1,000 matchups, in lefty-righty matchups, he has a 1.5 home run per nine, 39 hard hit rate. Nelson Cruz is in the lineup. He got the day off yesterday. You got Garver, Sano, Polanco, Kepler. All those guys are good. Kepler, even in lefty-lefty, his last 200 lefty-lefty matchups, he has a 200 ISO. So power is everywhere. And then Josh Donaldson out on the injured list. Pitching is going to be a little scarce tonight. Talk to us about Duffy first.
Yeah, pitching. Definitely not the strongest pitching slate tonight. There are a few options that I think stand out. Really tough spot for Duffy going up against all this power in the Minnesota lineup. Obviously Donaldson being out is an upgrade for Duffy, but you still have to deal with Mitch Garver, Nelson Cruz, Miguel Sano from the right side. It does drop off a little bit after that when you get down to Marwin Gonzalez and Byron Buxton, but overall just a really powerful high upside lineup. Duffy does struggle with right-handed power. Since the start of last year, he's allowed a 187 ISO to righties, 200 expected ISO. He's only struck out 20.5%. So I think it certainly favors the Minnesota bats here.
All right, and then any interest at all in Duffy as an SP2? We've got again, we're going to be searching high and low. Things are going to be congregating pretty hard on about 3 or 4 guys. Is he someone you would consider as a secondary pitcher tonight?
I haven't made lineups yet, but looking at my projections, he's kind of in that range where if I'm playing 150 lineups, I have some, but certainly not a lot. And in like my 3 max stuff, I don't think I'll get there.
Okay, completely fair. Looking over here to the other side, we have let's see. All right, I think Jake Odorizzi coming back, expected to go about 70 pitches tonight. He has been on the injured list for a right intercostal strain. Not very exciting there, but he gets an interesting matchup here against Kansas City. How do you feel about him with a 70 pitch cap?
Yeah, I just don't really think you can get there because on DraftKings he's really expensive at 10,100, and then on FanDuel obviously you're looking for the quality start and the win. And if he's only expected to go around 70 pitches, it's really tough to get both of those. And if 70 pitches does get 6 innings, he's probably not striking many guys out.
Absolutely. All right, let's continue along here because there are some interesting games that we will want to get to. Our next one here is sort of one of them. Patrick Sandoval going against Colby Allard here. You've got a couple of southpaws. This game is going to be in Texas. The roof is closed currently. We have a nice lineup here from the Angels. They have a 4.9 implied run total. Shohei Ohtani is batting cleanup. Don't worry about him in the lefty-lefty matchup. You have a mostly healthy Anthony Rendon. You've got Mike Trout, who just hits a home run every day now that he has brought a new child into the world. And then you've got David Fletcher at 4,700. That is your differentiation play of the day. How do you like the Halos going against one Colby Allard?
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good spot for him. Colby Allard, a decent prospect, came over from Atlanta last year, I believe last year, but hasn't really put it together in the majors yet. One positive for him is that he hasn't allowed a lot of power over a limited sample size going back to last season. Only a 128 ISO to righties, but he's also only struck out 14.5%. And you do have a lot of right-handed power here, particularly coming from Trout and Rendon, but then also guys that at least put the ball in play and can do some damage with Fletcher, Pujols. Joe Adell is still cheap and one of the Angels' top prospects called up earlier this week. So I do think that it's at the least a good spot for some mini stacks. Shohei Ohtani's price tag, even in the lefty-lefty matchup, I think is too cheap for as good a hitter as he is also. And looking at Allard, not, again, a small sample, but not really lights out against lefties. He hasn't given up power to them. He's only struck out 20%. So it's not like talking about someone that's going to just come in and strike Ohtani out 3 times. So I think that you can probably be a little bit contrarian by taking the lefty bat in the middle of this order, and you still get a ton of upside.
All right, how are you feeling about Sandoval as a pitcher in this one? He's going against, not the most daunting of lineups here with Kinder Falafa batting second, Todd Frazier, or the ghost of Todd Frazier batting third. All of a sudden, we're down to Nick Solak, Willie Calhoun, Robbie Chirinos, and Rob Refsnyder down there at the bottom. Nothing exciting in that one, but Sandoval does he have the talent to carry us through 2 times through the batting order?
Yeah, I mean, I think Sandoval is one of the better mid-range plays here. The problem is that he's also projected to get a lot of ownership. Right now on DraftKings, we have him at about 36% owned. And I think that's because, when you look at that mid-range, he's got the better match. He's got the best strikeout stuff and the best matchup of guys like Danny Duffy himself, Colby Allard on the other side of this game, Brett Anderson at 7,100. I think Sandoval clearly has the best matchup and the best strikeouts. So he's going to get a lot of ownership, and he has good strikeout stuff. He also walks a lot of guys. This Texas lineup in general doesn't walk a lot though, which is good. And overall, the salary is cool. So, I think that he's someone that I'll gladly use. I just need to make sure that stacks I play him with are lower owned because you're going to get a lot of the top owned stacks paired with Sandoval because you'll be able to get whatever bats you want.
All right, and he did go 62 pitches in his first appearance. That was back on the 27th against Seattle, and then he was sent to the alternate training site where he continued to, I don't know, I guess simulated games or whatever the equivalent of staying stretched out is. So we should probably expect around 70 pitches for him. Continuing on here, Cincinnati at Milwaukee. Brett Anderson, never exciting, kicking around. He went 52 pitches 5 days ago. Guess we'll probably think about 60 or so. On the other side, we have Anthony Desclafani, Disco Stew, as he is fondly known in the DFS world. Seen some other sources talking about him as an intriguing pitcher. Adam, if memory serves, lefties are his arch rival, his pure nemesis, his pain and suffering. There's a lot of lefties in this lineup tonight. What do you want to do with Anthony Desclafani?
Yeah, he's also a little more expensive than I would like. He's someone who I do believe in his talent, but like you said, he does pitch. He is better against righties. Since the start of last season, a 25 strikeout percentage for righties, 22.6 to lefties. He's allowed a 219 ISO to lefties. He's held righties to a 147 ISO. And, like you said, you have Sogard, Yelich, Morrison, Ben Gamel, Narvaez, Holt, all from the left side in this lineup. So the only righties in there are Keston Hiura, obviously Al Garcia, and Orlando Arcia. There are a lot of strikeouts in this lineup, though. I think that's worth pointing out because it's not the same Brewers lineup we've gotten in the past. Now you still have power, but you just have a lot of strikeouts in here. So I think the path to success is still there for DeSclafani, but my concerns are that he's relatively expensive at 8,400 on DraftKings. He is facing a lot of lefties, and he did only throw 64 pitches his last time out. So it's kind of hard for me. It basically has to break perfect for him to get enough strikeouts in, let's say 80, 84, 85 pitches to really justify this price tag, I think.
All right. God, just looking at the lineup going against him, it is a ton of lefties. I mean, Narvaez is interesting, close to 200 ISO. We've got Logan Morrison, 200 ISO. I can't believe he's still in the league. A couple former Mariners there. You've got Ben Gamel. Hey, another former Mariner. Christian Yelich, Sogard, as you mentioned. Keston Hiura is the surprising guy. I did not realize he has in his last 265 plate appearances, a 400-300 WOBA ISO combination against righties. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, a lot of power, some speed, and a lot of strikeouts for Hiura.
Yeah. Very interesting there. On the other side, we've got Brett Anderson, who's never exciting. He has about a 13% strikeout rate over his last 1,000 batters faced. Definitely righties are better off against him. He's not great. Doesn't walk a ton, doesn't strike out a ton. A lot of balls in play. Keeps the ground ball rate at about 56%. That's combined over his last just shy of 1,100 batters here. Fly ball rate at 25%. I would have thought that'd be slightly different or slightly higher than that. Do you want to attack him, or is this kind of a Trojan horse situation here?
No, I want to take bats against him because Cincinnati's got some really favorable pricing. Like you said, Anderson does a really good job keeping the ball on the ground, but he doesn't miss bats. And there's a lot of, the middle of this order has some pretty significant right-handed power. Nick Castellanos, since the start of 2018, Nick Castellanos, a 260 ISO against lefties. Eugenio Suarez at 283, Matt Davidson at 200. And Matt Davidson in particular, I think, can really benefit here because he has tons of power. He just doesn't hit the ball very often. But you're talking about a pitcher in Brett Anderson that strikes out about 12% of hitters. So Davidson should be able to put the ball in play. He's only 2,500 on DraftKings with multi-position eligibility. So he really jumps out. Kurt Casale hitting sixth as a cheap catcher option, a 182 ISO against lefties over that stretch. So I think the pricing here is really favorable on the Reds. The one thing that I could see happening, and I'm pulling up the top stack tool now, they probably get a lot of ownership. Yeah, we have them projected to be the fourth highest owned stack on DraftKings right now. So we're projecting them to be a little bit over-owned, which would be something, one thing that kind of keeps me away from the full stack. But I still think going to the individual bats and then, just pairing them with more contrarian stacks is a good way to go.
All right. Anything else you'd like to mention in this one?
3K Logan Morrison is a high upside value play from the Milwaukee side.
FanDuel. Oh my God, Matt Davidson's really 2,500.
Yes, I was not making it up.
I was thinking you had switched to Yahoo or something, and I wow, or I mean, not yeah, well, to be a Yahoo price. Yeah, I thought you had switched to FanDuel. Oh my goodness, wow. Okay, well, guess when I hit the old crunch button, he's going to be in a lot of these lineups. Continuing along to our other 7-10 game, we have the Miami Marlins going against the Mets. This game is in Citi Field. We've got Dan Castano going against David Peterson. Peterson is finding his way in a ton of my lineups. He is my pitcher of one of my three pitchers I'm looking at trying to get on over here on Yahoo. What do you want to do with the youngster Peterson here?
Yeah, I think he is. So I mentioned, ownership getting to Patrick Sandoval because he was better than the pitchers around him. Peterson is an exception to that. He obviously has a good matchup against Miami. He actually, for me, projects as one of the top three. Yeah, one of the top three raw points pitchers on the slate. and he's affordable. He's a former first-round pick, I think, in 2018 for the Mets. He's looked decent in his first couple of starts. Price tag hasn't really moved, but he went 6 innings last start through 87 pitches, so there's no reason to really be concerned about pitch count. And this is the easiest matchup he's had in the majors so far. He faced Boston his first time out, he was good. He faced Atlanta his second time out, he was good. Now you get the Marlins. The way baseball works is that the Marlins probably will score 50 runs, but obviously you're not going to really project for that, and it really sets up as a good spot for David Peterson.
All right, had to do a little deleting there on the fly of files. Apparently my auto delete for all these shows that automatically record was still going, and I got a little warning at him that said I had no more room on my hard drive, which all I do is just broadcast for this. I don't have anything else on there, which means that's an awful lot of files.
Looking at Peterson's first couple of starts too, because this is a predominantly right-handed lineup for Miami. He has, obviously it's 2 starts, because you don't want to take too much away from it, but he has managed to strike out 24% of righties. He's thrown his changeup 28% of the time. He has not been getting a lot of swings and misses on it, only about 8.5%. But the fact that he at least has a changeup to throw, typically that's a pitch that left-handed pitchers that get hit hard by righties, or right-handed pitchers that get hit hard by lefties typically don't have any. It's because they don't have anything they can really use against opposite-handed hitters. Changeup is an effective pitch in that situation. So the fact that he at least has it is a good thing.
All right. With regards to the Mets here, this is courtesy of the MLB probable pitcher page. They say Daniel Castano, who's making his major league debut tonight, was acquired in the Marcell Ozuna trade back in 2017. He went 7-4 with 3.5 ERA at Class AA, Jupiter, and AA Jacksonville last season. We have almost a 5 implied run total here for the Mets. Looks like it just changed because it was at 5.1. What do you want to do here with the Mets? I don't think Castano is in any prop player pools.
Is what?
What do you want to do with the Mets here? Oh, they do have Castano. I'm sorry. It looks like he is the probable starter, and then they've got Sterling Sharp as the next reliever in, but he only went 21 innings as an opener last time. Are you good to go to the Mets? That's a better way of saying that more succinctly.
Yeah, I think they're fine. Castano is a lefty, so it's not quite as exciting going to the Mets because McNeil and Conforto are both lefties, and because you don't have Nimmo at the top of the order. But you do get a pretty cheap shortstop play in Ahmed Rosario leading off. You get some cheap power from J.D. Davis. You obviously get a monster power bat from Peter Alonso batting fourth. Obviously, don't really know what to make of Castano. He hasn't pitched above AA. He pitched in 18 games, 11 starts last year at AA. He struck out about 20.7% of hitters, really low walk percentage at 4.5%, which obviously for the pitcher is good, but is also good for your power bats. If he's not walking guys and he's not a high strikeout guy, you're putting the ball in play more. Did get a lot. He's gotten a lot of ground balls throughout his minor league career, so that's obviously good for him. Not good for the Mets, but I think that the Mets are a pretty good stack right now. We have them, I think, in the middle of the pack in terms of top stack percentage. Yeah, middle of the pack in terms of top stack percentage, and getting a pretty good amount of ownership. So if the ownership comes down, I'd be interested, but where it's at right now, there's some other teams I'd rather get to.
All right. For those of you that are here, hit that like button. Higher like button goes, the less promos you're going to have to hear from me. It's a nice little correlation.
Please, God, hit the like button.
There you go. Reminder, we are now sponsored by Yahoo. Definitely check that out. If you have not yet made a deposit over there, go on over there to Yahoo Daily Fantasy Sports. Put in the promo code Awesemo. When you make your first deposit, put in $30. They'll match it with $30. That comes in the form of YSRPs, Yahoo Sports Rewards points, which are just as good as cash. Continuing along here, we are humming, as they say, halfway through the slate. We now are looking at the Blue Jays with Chase Anderson and Zach Godley. A couple of righties here on DK. They're coming in at 56 and 5,800 respectively. Godley went 69 and 53 pitches in his 2 appearances so far. Chase Anderson is coming off the 10-day injured list, so this is his first showing of the year. They say he's probably going to go about 50 pitches or so, 3 innings. Do you like either pitcher for any consideration whatsoever?
Not really. I mean, Godley's 5,800 on DraftKings. He looked great his first time out, 4 innings, 7 strikeouts against the Mets. It's always tempting with him because he had that brief stretch with Arizona where he was a really good pitcher, and then it kind of disappeared. So whenever you see him come out and have an outing like that, there's at least some interest. Then he followed it up with only 1 strikeout in 3 1/3 against the Yankees. Toronto has a lot of power, but they do have a lot of strikeouts. 5,800 for Godley. I don't mind taking a shot in some tournaments, but he's definitely not someone you're looking for in cash games. He's not someone that I expect to be heavily invested in here.
Right. When you're focusing on the hitters, I think definitely from Toronto, of course, we're going to be recommending the youngsters in Biggio and Bichette. You've got Vladdy Guerrero Jr. down there batting sixth, but in between, we've got a little moment here for Travis Shaw. Wow, I forgot about him. Been a long time. You've got Teoscar Hernandez, Lourdes Gurriel, Randall Grichuk. Nice bit of power in here, even if you consider Rowdy Tellez, Danny Jansen. Your mileage may vary, but you've got what, 6 guys that are 230 or higher in isolated power over the last 2 seasons against righties. We know that, as you mentioned, Godley's kind of been all over the place here. I think he got a little bit lucky in the first part. Maybe there's a book out on him, as they like to say. I really do like the Toronto bats here. Let's see how popular they are. What do you want to do with Toronto?
Yeah, I think it's a high upside spot just because there is so much power. Right now, we have them as the second highest top stack percentage, but also the third highest ownership percentage. Basically, right around the same, a little bit overowned maybe. But yeah, I think it's really tough with a pitcher like Godley because if he's throwing strikes and if he's able to throw that knuckle curve and throw it where he wants to, he's really tough to hit. But the margin for error for him is just so small because he doesn't really have any other good pitches and he struggles with his control. If he's behind in counts, his fastball's not good enough to get him out of it. And so in those starts, he's going to get hard. And that's obviously what you're hoping for if you go to Toronto. So I think it's a boom or bust spot. Like if Godley is locating and has this stuff, Toronto is in a really bad spot. But the margin of error is just so small, and Toronto has so much power that they're in.
All right. Top Stacks tool sounds interesting. Hey, it's free today. I'm going to drop that link into the chat. Of course, when we have the free stuff, you guys can always find it at awesemo.com. Navigate to the MLB page and then to the Top Stacks tool. This one is probably my favorite. I think it's everybody's favorite tool that we have here at Awesemo. Adam, how much has it changed the way you approach your lineup building?
Yeah, it's changed it a lot. I use it a ton as part of deciding what lineups to play.
All right,
in every sport, basically.
Especially that League of Legends, right?
Yeah, definitely that.
I'm not even joking. That your success is you in the mean streets of NHL and League of Legends. I would have never thought. There we are. There we are. All right, let me get back over here. So moving to our other side here, looking at guys against Chase Anderson. Once upon a time, Anderson, a bit of what we call a reverse splits pitcher, just essentially means he gives up a little more power or a little more to same-handed hitters than what is normally going on. Usually it's the quote platoon advantage, which means lefty righty or righty lefty. In this case, he is actually relatively decent against lefties. Over his last 600 faced, he has held them to a 280 weighted on base average and a 155 isolated power. Against righties, those are 350 and 245. We do have a fair number of lefties in here because, hey, baseball. But I don't mind Rafael Devers. It's interesting seeing Alex Verdugo up at the top of the lineup. Let's see if we can get some pricing on him. $9 on Yahoo, $23 on FanDuel, $3,300 there on DK. That's a nice one. JD Martinez, at some point, the bat's going to wake up. Boomstick's going to come out. He has not hit a home run yet. However, he has 4 doubles in his last 3 games. So at least that is a sign that maybe he'll come on back out of this funk here. What do you want to do with the Bo Sox against Chase Anderson, who's, again, likely on about a 50 pitch count?
Yeah, really interested in the right-handed bats here. Like you said, Anderson does struggle with right-handed power. You're probably only getting one or two at bats against him, but JD Martinez and then a cheap Xander Bogaerts look like a nice 1-2 in the middle of the order there. Um, and then it's obviously whenever you're getting a bullpen game, it's not that appealing because bullpen arms tend these days to throw so hard and be tough to hit. But that's kind of where full stacks become a little bit more appealing because if whoever comes in out of the bullpen isn't one of their best pitchers, then it's a really high upside for everyone. They are projected right now to be the highest owned stack on the slate, however.
All right, and again, you can find that in the free for today stacks tool. Go ahead and look at that in the YouTube chat. You'll see that. Go ahead and hit that like button. Didn't get that many for the call out here, so there's going to be some more promos. Adam's silently crying inside. He's going to start yelling very, very soon, but we'll save that for just a moment. We're on to our 9 o'clock games here. We've got a trio of them. This is going to actually be a fun later slate this evening. Just to kind of cap ahead or to glance ahead on this, we've got a couple of our, one key pitcher, I guess. I'm going to call it 3. I'm curious to see what Adam has to say. You've got Merrill Kelly, whose pricing is all over the place on the different sites. 10,000 on DraftKings, a much more palatable figure on Yahoo at 32. I'm pairing him with David Peterson over there as my pair of pitchers. We've got Chris Paddock, who is coming in at 7,900. That's a much nicer price point. Only a 3.2 implied run total here for the Arizona Diamondbacks. So those two are going to be our key pitchers. And then we're also going to talk about Clayton Kershaw in this one. And then we got a bunch of gas cans that are searching for a match. How do you feel about Merrill Kelly? I mean, I can easily get to him on Yahoo. DraftKings at 10,000 even. We've got a few cheapies in there with Matt Davidson and some others, so it's doable. That's a lofty price tag for the Lizard King.
Yeah, it is. Just not a high strikeout guy. 22.5% strikeout percentage against righties, 18% against lefties since the start of last year. Obviously had that great start earlier this year against Texas, but I'm not going to read too far into that. I agree the price on Yahoo is really appealing. At 8,500 on FanDuel, it's not that appealing. And then on 10K on DraftKings, I don't really see it. I think I would actually rather. I have a little bit more interest in tournaments and taking a shot at some Padres bats because Kelly has struggled with power. 222 expected ISO to lefties since last year, 241 to righties. And we know that there's a lot of power in this Padres lineup. The lineup hasn't come out yet, but you're assuming you're going to have Tatis, Machado, Pham, Hosmer's hitting the ball in the air at least early on this year, which is nice. Trent Grisham's not a bad hitter whatsoever. So I actually have some interest in the Padres.
Yeah, the Kelly's given up 3 home runs already this year. He has gone 6 innings and 7.2 innings, 90 and 104 pitches there. So he is stretched out. Probably expect to see around 90 pitches here, but strikeouts can be tough to come by with him. Interesting. On his opposite number here, Chris Paddock, 7,900 on DraftKings. That is a very nice price point. He is actually 51 on Yahoo. So he and Merrill Kelly are kind of inverted on Yahoo and DraftKings. I much prefer. I would not consider him on Yahoo for the 2 lineups I'm building here, but I really like him on DraftKings. What do you want to do with Chris Paddock?
Yeah, I don't really see any reason to get away from him. The Diamondbacks lineup isn't the worst lineup, but Paddock is a really good pitcher. I mean, there's some decent hitters in here, but once you start getting to the bottom of the order, it does thin out. And Paddock is just, I think, more talented than his price tag. He's stretched out enough to where that's not really a concern. He threw 88 pitches last start, 89 the one before that. Strikeout stuff is good. Control's good, doesn't typically walk a lot of guys, so pitch count doesn't become an issue quite as quickly for him as it does for some other pitchers. I don't really have any reason not to like him, especially at the DraftKings price tag. On FanDuel, I think that he's a good play as well at 9,100. The pitching around him, I think, isn't really that great. And then on Yahoo, he is obviously priced up, like you said, and the pitcher pricing is different. But if you can get there, I still have no problem with it.
All right, we'll talk we'll talk ownership mixing and a few other things as we get along, since we are making great time through this today. 2 more games to talk about here. we have let's go to Clayton Kershaw here. We've got Kershaw going against Johnny Cueto. Kershaw has made one start. Reminder: he had a sore back that sort of derailed the early part of the season for him. He's coming in at 10,500 on DraftKings. He went 81 pitches in his last one. It's a great matchup against the Giants. They have a 2.9 implied run total. Yes, we are paying a lot. Yes, this is not Clayton effing Kershaw, the multiple Cy Young Award winner, but it's still probably the best pitcher on the slate at the moment. Adam, Kershaw looking like he's going to be at about 40% of the lineups. That's on DK. That's similar to Paddock. Over there on Yahoo, he comes in at 5,600, or probably at $56. I'm not looking at him there, but the field is. He's 41%. There's definitely dollars to get over there. They got a lot of $7, $8, and $9 hitters that make it easier to get in those top end guys. We're not looking at a Coors Field stack. How do you want to approach Mr. Clayton Kershaw this evening?
I really like him here for a couple of reasons. One is the obvious one. He's facing the Giants. They have a 2.9 implied run total. It's a bad lineup. It's about as you're going to get in baseball. So that's obviously great. But with Kershaw, there's kind of it was weird because he started to drop off, and everyone just kept treating him like he was Clayton Kershaw and that you should roster him no matter what. And then everyone kind of like overcorrected and started talking about just they thought he was like a bad pitcher or had really, really dropped off. He still last year, his velocity was way down from where it normally was, but he still struck out 26 and a half, almost 27% of hitters. He still had a 21.2 K minus BB percentage, 343 xFIP. Like he still was a good pitcher last year. And then in his first start this year, his fastball velocity was back up to 92 miles an hour. It was at about 93 last year. So still not at the 95, 96 that he used to throw, but did pick up a couple miles an hour on his fastball. And he had started throwing his slider more and being more effective with it last year, which is what had started getting more strikeouts. So I still think that he's not completely washed. He's just the best pitcher in baseball anymore. I still think he should have success in the spot.
All right. Johnny Cueto. Yeah, the late slate, we've got 6 pitchers. Why not? We don't have that much choices, and he is 5,100 on DraftKings. Now let's talk main slate, Adam. He is 5,100 on DraftKings. He is going against the Giants. This will be his fourth. Thank you. He is going against the Dodgers. This will be his fourth start. 85 pitches, 87 pitches, 63 pitches. It's just not really there anymore for him. Ever since he got traded from Cincinnati and had that bum year or stretch in Kansas City, he's not quite been the same. Revamped himself for one decent year in with the Giants, but then he's just been injured. Just a variety of maladies. He's 5,100, Adam, but he is going against the Dodgers.
Yeah, I really like the Dodgers here. They're coming in the middle of the pack in terms of top stack percentage and also ownership. There's just so much power in this lineup. They're not that expensive. Mookie Betts being the exception at 6,200, but other than that, Bellinger is only 4,900. Muncy's expensive as well. But as far as a full stack goes, there's plenty of value bets in the Dodgers lineup, or guys at least that are underpriced, so you can still get decent pitching with them. You can still get decent one-offs with them. Johnny Cueto since last season since 2018, relatively small sample, but he's allowed a 224 ISO to lefties, 264 expected ISO, only struck out 16.5%. That doesn't really set you up well for matchups with Jock Peterson, Bellinger, Muncy. And then against righties, it's not like he's striking them out. He's only at about 20%. He has done a much better job of limiting power against them. But when you're talking about like a Mookie Betts or a Justin Turner, you're not too concerned about the matchup because they're such good hitters. AJ Pollock is way too good of a hitter to be $3,300. So I just think top to bottom, there's a lot of upside here for the Dodgers.
All right, Dodgers, one of my favorite stacks of the night. No surprise there for anybody. We still have my most favorite stack on the night coming up. That will be in our next game. If you're going to pick off one or two people here to go against Kershaw, is it like the Longoria, Wilmer Flores, Hunter Pence, righty-lefty matchup that you're looking for a sprinkling perhaps?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to be doing that. But
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they're not even that cheap.
No, not on DK. They're not on DK. All right, final game of the night. We still got 30 minutes to go here, so we'll get to some questions. We'll talk some lineup mixes here and what we're doing. I tried 4 different times to learn how to say Nick
Margevicius?
Margevich.
Yeah, I can't say it.
I can't say it, and I've been saying it wrong for several years. And I heard the Mariners announcer talking about it last night. I used to say Margevicius. It's not that, and for the life of me, I cannot remember the appropriate way.
Margevicius, I think.
That's much closer than what I was saying. So yes, it's well. In any event, Adam, I believe you bestowed upon him worst pitcher in the history of ever. Is that true? Last year,
I think I do think I said that at some point. I did not expect this guy to reemerge in the major leagues, but yeah, he's not very good. Going back to he hasn't pitched much in the majors. He's thrown 334 pitches to lefties, 697 to righties, 19% strikeout percentage to righties, 12 to lefties, 354 ISO to lefties, 195 to righties. Not very good strikeout stuff in the minors. I really don't know how he keeps getting major league jobs. The problem, I guess, is that the Rockies aren't very good either, and their best hitters are left-handed. But yeah, I still don't mind picking on him because I just really don't think he's good. And we actually have the Dodgers projected for not very much ownership relative to their top stack percentage. Or sorry, the Rockies.
The Rockies.
Yeah.
So the Rockies are my number one stack of the night. I see in chat we're going crazy with the home run call. So I'll give you my home run call. Adam can give you one of his. Mine is you can coin flip it. It's going to be either Nolan Arenado or Trevor Story. I'm going to go with Nolan Arenado. Arenado over his last 400 righty-lefty matchups, 333 ISO. Story over his last 389 matchups, a 300 ISO against Southpaws. As Adam mentioned, in his 87 batters faced from the sorry, I'm saying that backwards. Just take one of those two guys. I will go with Arenado. I like to extend this out to Daniel Murphy, Matt Kemp. I believe he's $9 on Yahoo. That's an outstanding price point. And then Hampson, I don't hate. I'm finding other guys at that position I prefer. But this has the makings of my favorite stack by far. And then Chuck Nasty, of course, is fine in lefty matchups. And I don't know how long he's going to last. But the Mariners bullpen, not that great either.
Yeah, and the Rockies are expensive enough that it'll keep their ownership down. The implied total is not very high. The hitting conditions aren't great, would probably be my biggest concern, but it'll be really tough for people to pay for the full stack when you're talking about 5,900 on DraftKings for Arenado, 5,700 for Story. I think that does keep the ownership down, and it makes it really appealing in tournament.
All right. On the other side, we have Ryan. Oh God, yet another name I didn't bother to learn how to pronounce. Castellani. Not to be confused with Castellanos, but Ryan Castellani here. Let's see, elbow surgery last year. He is coming in for Chichi Gonzalez, who was too terrified to come out for another start. The Mariners have somehow been putting it together. It's definitely a flash in the pan. You can't have an entire team hitting on a hot streak, but they certainly seem to be. This is a good matchup for them. Guys I really like on the Mariners, Kyle Lewis and Shed Long. I'm using for sure Shed Long in my Yahoo lineup that I've made tonight. But those are the first two I really, really like. Dan Vogelbach has been working on his swing. Since the All-Star break last year, his WOBA isn't even his weight. That's not good. His isolated
if his WOBA was his weight, it would be really good though.
It would be very good. Yeah, it'd be nice. But a little bit scary there. So these are not household names. They're fairly priced on DraftKings for where they're going in their lineup spots and who they're going against. So it's kind of an undervalued stack in my opinion. It's just the numbers say it's okay, but the names don't. That's where you have to move past the old familiarity test, I guess. Adam, any thoughts here on the Mariners?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really see anything that makes me think that Castellani is any good. I agree with you on Kyle Lewis. Their FanDuel pricing is really cheap. On DraftKings, it's fine also. But yeah, 3,900 for Kyle Lewis, I think is good. The problem is just that there's so many good outfield plays. How do you prioritize taking one-offs from the Mariners? But yeah, I think any of Lewis, Seager, I guess Vogelbach, but mainly Lewis and Seager are pretty appealing.
All right. If you were going with a home run call tonight, who would that be?
Castellanos.
Okay. That's a solid one. Who is currently your top stack?
I don't know that yet.
All right. Well, let's kind of build this stuff out together. So I'm going to do the same thing here, chat. And this is something we had some good feedback about this, and then I'll bounce over and look at some of the questions here in the chat. Again, the Top Stacks tool is free. I have built a lineup over on Yahoo. They are now our presenting sponsor. If you jump in earlier in the day, they do have management fee free contests. These aren't necessarily the largest prize pool, but it softens the blow of not having 15% taken out of the prize pool right off the bat. The other thing that they do as well is their management fees are closer to that 10 and 12%. They also run a lot of single entry tournaments that are very, very winnable. Both in basketball and baseball. They might only have 20, 30, 50, 100 people in them, but you can actually win these. And your ROI is much better, and you don't have to be as contrarian and off the board as you do on a lot of the other sites. They do have a large contest today. It's $15. There's 300 spots left. It's a $12,000 prize pool. The management fee on that is 12%, which is about 3 to 4% less than what you're getting on the DraftKings and FanDuel. And then the payout is $2,000 for first, $1,000 for second, $500 for third. So solid price point up there. And again, winnable contest. You're going against 900 total entries. It does have an entry cap of 10. So for those of you that hate people that mass enter, there you go. You can go against just 10. My lineup that I am going with over there, I will give you guys parts of it. Don't recommend you guys want to copy it. That's fine. Just know we're going to tie. I went with Peterson and Kelly. I wanted some affordability in my pitching there. I went with Omar Narvaez. Yes, he's batting 7th, but he's a $7 catcher, and he does have some pop. I then went with Murphy, Arenado, Trevor Story, and Matt Kemp as my 4-man stack. Had Nelson Cruz and Max Kepler. Cruz is a luxury. He's 27 over there. I'm hoping some people stay away from him as they try to get the better pitchers in. So I'm going with Cruz there. And then, who didn't I mention? Shedlong is my other guy. So I'm just playing one lineup over there tonight, but that is the one that I went with. So feeling good about that one. All right, as I go over here and start putting in my pitching cap percentages for DraftKings, I'm going to kind of talk through what I'm going to do here. So I really like the pricing on Chris Paddock. I don't mind being at the field on that one. So I'll go with 40. Kershaw, he's a little spendy. I'm going to go a little bit under. I'm going to say 35 for Kershaw. We currently have it at 40. I haven't pulled these down in the last few minutes, but I don't think too much has changed. Sandoval's the interesting one. He's nicely priced, 6,900 there. We're having him at about 35%. I don't really know what I want to do. I know I'm definitely going to have some Angel stacks. I kind of would like to go under the field on him, so I'm going to go 20 on him. I'm going to take a chance on Peterson. He's $300 more expensive, about equal ownership here, but he is going against Miami, who, while they are a little bit better than years past, they're not having me do cartwheels. I'm okay making him 40%. Danny Duffy's going to come in at 5, Godley at 5, Odorizzi at 5, Castellanos. Everybody else I'm just going to put at 5, just because I don't really like anybody else, and I think Margevicius is incredibly. I can't even say this right. I think Nick Margie, the Margarita Man, is a little expensive. So now I'm going to sort it here. Now you need to get at least a minimum of 200 in your ownership caps here, or it's not going to run, or it won't run your full thing. So right now I've got 70, 80, 90, 100. So I'm short a little bit here. So now I've got to start making some decisions. So I'm okay with Anthony Desclafani. I'm going to bump him up to 10%. Colby Allard, no can do. Zach Godley still can't get there. So now all of a sudden I said, you know what? Merrill Kelly's going to be 20%. Now I can see why Chris Paddock is popular. I'm going 50 on that one. I'm going 50 on Peterson. So now I'm above the field on both those guys. But now I've got enough to where I should be able to reasonably run my crunches. The main reason I don't ever zero anybody out is things have been incredibly crazy this year for baseball. We're getting pitchers that if they can, you know, get 2 innings and 3 strikeouts and not give up a run and get around 10 DK points, that may not be the worst thing that you can run into here. So that's where I just haven't been zeroing people out. We'll see what happens when I start to run these crunches. When reminder, we do have the free, drop the link into the YouTube chat. We do have the free lineup builder. Pardon me, not the lineup builder, the stacks tool, as I am starting to build my lineup. So I'm going to put that into there for you guys. Hopefully that worked. But if you guys don't see that link, you can do go to the Awesemo.com, go to MLB, drop down, and then from there, the very third one from the bottom says Awesemo Top Stacks. And that's definitely what you want to look at. So now I'm going to build my settings. Now what Adam is doing, what most of our guys are doing, they have the ways of doing this in Excel, does all the heavy lifting for them. I live and breathe in Excel all day, and for whatever reason, I just don't feel like building one of these out for it. So I put everybody in at 5%. Now I'm going to start putting teams at 10% that I really want to stack, because we have 18 teams out there. If I put everybody in at 5%, I'm at 95%. I only have to be at 100. So I'm going to go 10 on Minnesota. I do like the Angels. I'm going 10 with them. I want to leverage some of that Texas against Sandoval. I'm going to go 7 with those guys. I think the Mets are okay. I'm going to put them at 10. We like Cincy. We like Milwaukee. They each get to go to 10. While I do like Toronto and Boston, I want to force some things onto Colorado, so I'm going to put each of those guys in at 7. Dodgers get to go in at 10. I'm going to leave Arizona, San Diego, San Francisco all at 5. I've got Colorado at 15. I'm going to go 10 with the Mariners as a contrarian stack. I'm going to set this as 4. I'm going to run some 4-4s here, and then I'm going to run 50 lineups and see what happens. That will probably take darn near forever, because there are a lot of teams to go here, but it'll give me a chance to come over and look at some questions here. Once I make sure this
looks like on DraftKings, getting to a lot of Angels and a lot of Twins.
Okay, which absolutely makes sense, because as people can see from the top stacks tool, it's Angels are number 4, Twins are number 2. From top stack percentage from their popularity, it's Boston, Toronto, Minnesota, Cincy, Dodgers, Milwaukee, all kind of the same.
It looks like mixing in some Colorado, Toronto, Mets, Padres also.
And here are the Mariners. I don't know. Very sad. Very sad.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like I'm getting there.
All right.
No, I got a couple.
Trout or Castellanos on FanDuel?
Who was the first one?
Mike Trout. You may have heard of him. Best player in baseball.
I mean, the answer is always Mike Trout.
Right. Let's see. Logan Morrison doubled on. Wow. It has happened before.
Yeah. Man, I'm getting to some of Castellani on DraftKings, and I really don't like it.
Is Yelich going overlooked because of his bad start? Potentially a little bit. He did. Wasn't that an inside the park home run, basically? Well, it was a little league inside the park.
Yeah, it was Eloy Jimenez should never be allowed to touch a glove again.
He should be taking tips from Nelson Cruz at this point. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Permanent DH.
All right. Ooh, boy, that's chunked out 20 lineups here, so going a little bit slow for me. So it's trying to force in a lot of Paddock, a lot of Kershaw. So generally what happens here is you want to be careful with your settings. If you have your settings too high, it's just going to be a point per dollar thing, which that's fine, but if you can end up not getting some players and wondering why it doesn't happen. Another thing you want to be careful of, especially in baseball, is it will give you, if you tell it you want to lock in Kershaw and you want to lock in Paddock and you want some 4-4 stacks of these top teams, it'll give it to you. It's just not going to be the hitters you want to see. So kind of what I'm doing here, where I tamp down the pitching, is it helps also spread out the hitters, and it does allow me to get some of those number 4 hitters, the Bellingers, Garvers, Suarez, guys like that in this. So that's partly why I'm doing that as well. Would you go with Bellinger or Castellanos for cash? I would go with Bellinger.
Yeah, if you can get the Bellinger.
And the Mariners, we didn't actually say it. It's going to be in the mid 60s at first pitch,
Yeah.
so not particularly warm.
And realistically, if you can get the both of Castellanos and Bellinger, that's probably a good idea.
All right, so I'm coming in pretty heavy on the Cincinnati, Milwaukee, Minnesota, and the both LA teams.
I'm refreshing all my stuff now because our ownership just updated.
I am not getting very much Rockies. I will have to tweak that, but that's okay. These are just my 4-4s. So now I'm going to run some 4-3s. I've been doing more 4-3s and then in particular 4-0s and 5-0s. For me, I think it just gets a little bit better player mix, and we're looking for some one-off home runs. It also allows me to get real selective and influence it to take the core part of the order of whichever stacks I'm trying to go after as my main stack. So that's something I like as well that I've been playing around with a little bit. Yahoo, or probably FanDuel, I still think you need to go 4-3s. I don't really like the 4-4 double stack there, but with how they weight their runs and their RBIs, stacking is more important there than it is on DraftKings, which gives a little proportional boost to home runs as opposed to the ancillary stats that come off of a home. Let's see here. Teoscar Hernandez or Whit Merrifield. That's going to depend on the site you're on because their prices vary wildly. I would lean towards Whit Merrifield, but Teoscar Hernandez is perfectly fine. Him and Randall Grichuk and Lourdes Gurriel are all kind of about the same righty outfielders that do okay against righties and lefties and are sort of running the mill, and you never know which one's going to hit a home run, and they all have about 20-25 home run power. Let's come back over here. How much Jock Peterson is too much?
I think it's a really good play. I mean, there's obviously a lot of outfielders. But...
Right. I'm just about done with my 4-3s. And then I will make it easier on my computer so it doesn't melt. We'll run some 4-0s here. The other reason I do it this way is I can get a more intriguing mix of my different stacks types, and that's something that the way we for those of you that follow how Awesemo plays, the ideal way to play fantasy sports or daily fantasy sports is to play more lineups and have more of a chance to get that one that kind of runs away from the rest of the field. So you can do that. It doesn't mean you have to spend more money. You can do that by taking and playing down in buy-ins. And from there, those of us that haven't, on DraftKings haven't played our $1 million, unlike Adam, you can also get, into those small entry fee contests, and you don't have to worry about as many of the top end shark type players. And that's something that's been very helpful, and it really has dramatically changed my profitability by focusing on that. So I do similar to what Adam and all those guys are doing, but I'm not playing in these top heavy tournaments. I'm trying to get in as many of those leagues and smaller field ones as I can, and then I just get in similar buy-ins, similar payout structures, and I just play it like it's a normal large thing. So I'll run 150 lineups, but I won't have more than 20 in any one of these contests. But by keeping everything consistently the same, it allows me to approximate what I want. All right, we are going to run some 5-0s, and I'm going to focus in on a couple of my stacks, load our lineups. For those of you still mucking around here, you've got it's 5 after, so we've got about 10 minutes left here before a lock. Go look and see what we've got for any overlay. There's about 250 spots available in that Yahoo $15 contest. Again, they are the sponsor of all of our baseball content now. So if you want to check that out, if you haven't made a deposit over there, use the promo code Awesemo. Put in $30. They'll give you $30 in YSRP's Yahoo Sports Rewards points. But right now, their contest, it has 200 spots available in it. It pays out the top 200. So right now it is like glorified triple up. It'll get up to where it's not quite 1 in 4 people get paid. So definitely keep an eye on that. All right. I am not getting the Colorado Rockies like I want, Adam. I'm
Good.
take I'm taking this like a personal failure.
I think it's probably just because they're so expensive. You probably have to manually bump their like thumbs up or something.
Ay ay ay. Just realized I marked something else up. All right. Let's see. Mm. All right. Sorry for the dead air, but I was accidentally ended up with a bunch of Austin Nolan in my lineups, and he's not in the lineup. That is what we call.
Typically, you don't want to play those guys.
Yeah, that's called no bueno. Now I got a little Dylan Moore floating around in there. How the heck did that happen? Oh, let's see. All right, now the easy way I can do this, I can just filter these lineups and quickly delete them. You can on Fantasy Cruncher. If I just click on my player pool, I can tell it to show me all the Dylan Moore lineups, and then I just quickly go in and delete those lineups. Sadly, that the bulk of those actually had were my Colorado stacks. Adam. No bueno. What position does Jorge Polanco play? He plays shortstop.
He's not in the lineup.
I know. He's another guy I gotta go fix here. That's what happens when you don't pay attention to your settings and you say already set go. All right, that then I got Cologne who's not in the lineup, so let me fix him, and then we are off to the races. All right, Christian Cologne, second base. Yes. All right, so see there, I got it. We're all set. Now I'm running out of time. Oh no, it's time to panic. Should I freak out? No, I absolutely shouldn't. I know that I said I just lost most of my Colorado lineups, so I'm going to quickly go in here. I'm going to set 4-man stacks, and I'm going to zero out all of the other stacks. I'm going to put in 100% Colorado, and then I'm going to run my desired number to get my over the field amount of Colorado that I want. And look at that. It's chugging right along doing what I need to do. So crisis averted there. You've got to go through these fire drills. At first I thought it was kind of funny watching the people, our counterparts on these shows scrambling, trying to get stuff done. And then I thought, you know what? I actually learn from when watching them keep their composure and try to get things set appropriately and come in. I mean, you're playing with real money here, so you don't want to do anything that's gonna muck up your potential return and all of that. But sometimes you just get stuck in a spot that's just how it's gonna play out. So the other one I don't see a lot of here. Let's go. I don't see a lot of Dodgers, so I'm gonna build some more with some Dodgers here.
I think I'm playing this Castellani guy. I don't feel great about it though.
Okay, that makes sense.
I was just reading some more about him. His strikeout numbers actually had gone up a bunch in the Arizona Fall League, and then it started. He was maintaining them at AAA before he was injured last year.
I am playing 3%. And now I want to make sure I get my lineups in, so I'm going to download these. I'm not going to sort through them. I'm playing 200 lineups tonight, it looks like, in 300 contest, or I'm playing each lineup in 2 contests. So go check that, and then we'll get on in. I wonder why the San Diego lineup is not coming in. because they don't have anybody listed as day-to-day. I didn't think there was any injuries. There are one of the ones that kind of dilly-dallies, but now we're within we're within 2 hours of first pitch. Oh, Adam, they want to know how much Castellani you are playing.
I'm not playing 150 lineups, but if I were on DraftKings, it looks like I'd have around 15%.
Okay. And I capped mine at 5. I got 2. Oh god, this is probably going to be the. Seth Curry and Dorian Finney-Smith are available to play. For those of you that may have forgotten and need to change your lineups for basketball, like me, the Dragon is out. So go to that Miami value, get a chance there to do a little bit of late swap and have some fun with that. All right, my lineups are in. We've got 5 minutes to go. Let's see what everybody else is up to. Remind me to stack the Tigers tomorrow. They had a nice game. Hat tip there to Derek Collins sticking around after giving 4 home runs in the first inning. He ended up going, I think, 5 innings or 6. Just eating innings there, so we'll have to see. We've got last question: Godley or Desclafani? Go with Desclafani. I don't know how stretched out Godley is. Is 50% Castellani too much? Yes, he is not going to be the Paul Blackburn of the night. Well, if you're playing 2 lineups and you have him in one, that 50% is okay. If you're playing 150 lineups, you may not want him in 50 or in 75 of those. Seattle looks good. What do you guys think about the Kyles? Kyle Seager, I don't know if they do the player nicknames on the back of their jerseys. Corey may have to make his say Kyle's brother on it this year instead of vice versa like it was before. He's 32 years old, having a minor bit of a resurgence, I guess. It's kind of helping him out that he's batting 3rd, 4th, or 5th and is relatively healthy for the first time in 2 years. So I don't hate him. And then Kyle Lewis has been a very pleasant surprise for me as a Mariners fan here. So he's someone that I'm looking to and just seeing where his price is, just to keep that in the back of my mind, because I think he's someone that's decent. Now, a lot of the Mariners have gone against some decent pitching, so I haven't played him against some of the Oakland guys and etc. But he's someone I don't mind, especially on the late slates. Don't forget about that. These non-household names. So they said Derek Holland threw 113 pitches. Wow. Yes, both Seagers are doing well. Corey also healthy after kind of missing the better chunk of a year there for that one. The isolated power numbers on the Kyles are awesome. This could be a thing. It's going to be the Kyles. Tyler Hero is starting in place of Dragic. That game is tipping off in 28 minutes. Banger says, I know it's the Mariners, but Castellani got worse at every level he went up. 8.3 ERA and a 1.9 WHIP in AAA. He's cheap. That's the main thing. It's a $5,000 pitcher. Yes, that's what he says too. Yeah, I guess it matters less on DK. Derek Jones is starting, not Kelly Olynyk. Kelly Olynyk probably got up to about 60% of lineups right now on DK, for those of you that were wondering. Got 3 minutes to go here. Go take a peek over there at the old Yahoo. They have, doing my math, 150 spots left in that tournament. That's going to go off most likely rake free. There's a minute left. It's $15. You can only enter 10 max in that one. That's a nice one. Tomorrow they've already got it posted. It's for NBA. It's a $3 management fee free contest. That's 150. It's $1,500, 500 people. You could put in a maximum of 10, and it's 250 at the top. So again, check these out. I won a nice one the other day. I played a little $5 contest for NBA and had to beat 27 other people. Took it down $150. Some people made some silly mistakes. I got a nice little gust of luck from the gods, and it worked out in my favor, but I was just mucking around. Now I wish I would have built more lineups that day. The other one you want to look at is FanDuel and DraftKings have been overlaying on their short slate ticket contest for Week 1 NFL. FanDuel ran one the other night where they were giving out $4,009 tickets. It was $2 to get in, and they ran that contest with 4,800 people. So 800 people did not win a $9 ticket. Check these things out. That's what helps us. And we are just about up to lock. One more request. Hit that like button, please. We definitely would appreciate that. Helps us out in the old YouTube algorithm. We've got some shows tomorrow. Definitely are going to have basketball and baseball. Baseball show is going to go off, I believe, at noon. There is a game at noon, but I don't think anybody's going to put that on their main slate because it's the Nationals and Baltimore, and I just don't think they're going to start the entire slate an hour early on a Sunday, so we'll have to see. Yes, Cameron High, I did see that Anderson Tejada. Are you? Do you know who Anderson Tejada is?
You asking me?
Yes, he's
No.
shortstop. Shortstop for the Rangers, kind of a nobody. He want to guess his pricing on Yahoo. They usually cap out position players at 26 or 27.
What team did you say he was on? I was trying to cheat.
The Rangers yesterday.
I'll say he's not in the lineup.
Yes.
I don't know.
40. He was the third most expensive player on the slate.
I thought you were going to say they did the thing where you price them below the minimum.
No, I think maybe there's a pitcher with his name, or they didn't have all his minor league or whatever. They didn't have all the right things. But yeah, I kept seeing that. I'm like, who's this guy that's 40? But I'm not like, is he some amazing prospect? Is he gonna steal first, second, third, and home? Is that how this is gonna work? I don't know. But anyway, that's where we are with that one. All right, so we're gonna get on out of here. But again, we will have live before lock baseball and basketball tomorrow. Check that out. You're gonna get Josh Engelman and Zach Bruner for basketball, and myself and Greg Ehrenberg will be on for baseball. Thank you, Adam, for joining us here on a Saturday. You can follow Adam at ShipMyMoneyDFS. I'm at Emac DFS, and of course, it is Awesemo _COM over there on Twitter. With that, gamers, good luck.